And we are live.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, welcome, welcome, royal ones. If y'all still royal ones. I mean, you're
Oh,
royal, but
they're the royal loyal ones.
royal loyal ones. Yes, welcome, welcome, and welcome to you all this evening for Pour It Out with She and Me. She and me.
Dear me.
She and me. I am Tony Denise Lattimore. And yeah, we are two friends who are just talking candidly. We make a safe space. This is a time for a safe space for us to be able to share with whoever comes on, and to let you know that friendship is possible. And y'all, we live long distance. Like we live how many miles? Probably 1,400,
I don't
1,200.
know miles. I just know we probably live like 20 hours away from each other, right?
No, not 20. Okay, right. So I'm saying 1,400. Probably 989. Look at that number.
How
989.
how do you even come up with that?
Because I'm thinking when we drove to Georgia before, it was about that part.
A
Any
1,000 miles? Wow.
1,000 miles, something like that. Anywho, yeah, it's a long ways away. So we say all that to say, I say that to say that it is possible to have long distance friendship, relationship for that matter. Okay,
Absolutely.
be intentional.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yes. So, what do you have on your mind on this evening? I think
Oh,
last time I talked about my stuff, right?
I don't even remember.
You don't.
What did we talk about? What did we talk about last time? You got to jog my memory.
I gotta jog your memory if I can remember myself the way these
Oh,
days be going.
oh, we got it to religion, I think, and we talked
Oh,
about that, right? Was that last week?
yeah, we talked about what about religion?
Like how people end up getting into almost like cults, I think was what we talked about last week. Because we talked about, you and what you went through and how you had to break from that.
Oh,
Um, and oh, and we talked about I wonder who you would have been if you would have had that guidance.
oh, did we?
Hmm.
I don't recall that. But anywho, um, probably right. Hmm.
I know.
This is what I have for this evening.
What is that?
It's pineapple juice.
Oh, it's blurry over here. I couldn't see.
Is it?
Yeah, but I mean, I might need my glasses on, so don't don't mind me.
Yeah, just 100% pineapple juice.
You can
But
drink
I
the.
do have some. I got vodka over there that I can pour in once I pour it out a little bit down my throat.
You go wet your throat a little bit. Wet your throat.
What you throat? Yeah, just get it a little moist, and
Yeah,
then yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that part. I don't know. Depends on how I feel.
So I have water tonight.
Yeah.
I have water. I'm trying to do better about drinking my water, so
Yes, absolutely.
that's what I have tonight. Also, that doesn't burn your throat. That straight up pineapple juice like that, you don't get acid reflux from that.
I never get acid reflux only when I was pregnant with my daughter, I believe, when my craving was um spaghetti and lemons.
What?
Not the lemons mixed in, but I would like the spaghetti and then lemons.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting combination there.
Isn't it? Very
Yeah.
so.
Did you
Mhm.
have that craving throughout your entire pregnancy?
No, it was I think about 7, 8, 9 months.
It's crazy to me how that switches, right? Like how you're sick in the beginning. Not everybody,
I
but
never got sick with neither
I,
one of them.
I was totally sick.
Oh wow.
Totally
No.
sick. Like I can remember James, he was making chicken one night. And we used to live in a townhouse. So when you live in a townhouse, you have to park in the parking lot
Oh,
and
and
you
you
have
can
to walk
smell.
up. Oh my God. As soon as I got out of my car,
Mm,
I could smell the chicken before I even walked in the house. And
mm.
it wasn't even cooked yet. He was like cleaning it. I was like, it's raw chicken and I need you to throw it out now. Like I'm getting sick.
Wow.
I knew it. I said, you're cooking chicken, right? He said, yeah. I said, I smelled it in the driveway. So he
Mm.
had to throw it out. Like I couldn't eat it.
Wow.
I was sick I was probably sick my entire pregnancy, but like throwing up, like morning sickness kind of stuff, probably for about 4 months.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't experience that with either one of mine. Like my pregnancy was, both of them were really smooth, except I got super big with both.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first one I looked like I was having twins, the second one triplets.
What?
That's how I looked. My the second one like was just like straight out like a watermelon.
So did you have preeclampsia? Like what? Why did you? Or you just got big?
Just got big. I gained, I think it was 49 pounds, about 49 with both of them.
Yeah, I think I gained 40 pounds with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
No, I don't have, the pregnancy, actually, I enjoyed being pregnant both times, but no
Mm-mm.
sickness, no anything. They just didn't want to come out. They were 2 weeks overdue, both of them.
What?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
have to get induced?
With both of them. My son, who was born first, it took him 3 days with the induced pregnancy, right? And then my daughter, I think she was a little bit quicker, but not too much quicker. Yeah, and then they had to pull her out with the forceps because she got down there and she was faced up. Her eyes were pointing up at the ceiling.
Oh, she wasn't down.
She wasn't down. That's why I was struggling with, pushing.
Oh my goodness. This is. I had a C-section.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I went in and her heart rate was dropping her heart rate was dropping with my contractions.
Mm.
And so they were like, you can't go home. You have to stay here. And I was like,
Was
okay.
she on time or
She was 2 weeks early.
okay?
Hmm. Yeah. So they monitored me that night and she had a really sharp D cell.
Mm.
And so they were like, we're gonna go ahead and induce you.
Mm.
And so they induced me and I don't know, I got induced that Monday. I had her that Wednesday morning.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But you were
Yeah.
already having your own contractions. They had to
I was
break.
on, yeah.
Yeah, they had to break my water both times.
They had to break my water too.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to break my water, but I didn't know I was having contractions. I just happened to go in because I was like borderline preeclamptic.
Okay.
And so every week I was having to go in and get monitored and all that stuff. So they hooked me up to the monitor and they were like, you're having contractions. And I was like, I don't feel nothing. If this is what it's going to be like, let's go.
Right.
But
What?
girl, let me tell you something.
Oh,
So
when they induce you, that's a whole nother ball.
that's what I was about to
Them
say.
them contractions be coming.
So, okay. So, like I said, they monitored me overnight. That Tuesday morning, I woke up and they were like, you're going to get induced. I was like, okay, great. So James goes and buys the camera, all this great stuff. And they're like, we're all excited. We think we're going to have a baby now. And so they're like, no, you probably just need to take a nap. It's going to take a while. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. So they gave me my epidural, all that. So I went to sleep. Girl, probably like 9 o'clock Tuesday night. I woke up. I was like, what is that?
Right.
That I And I was only 4 centimeters dilated. And I
Mm.
was like, no, like, because they had all these monitors like on her head and, all these things to just make sure she was okay. And I told him, I said, take everything out, everything, take it all out. I said, this is hurting me way too bad. Like, I can't take this. And yeah, she was like, we need to have a C-section because she's stuck. You've been in this position a little bit too long.
Mm.
And she's like, you can keep laboring it out. I mean, I don't want you to feel like a bad mom, for having the C-section. I was like, listen, ma'am, if I got to go through this and worse and I'm only 4, go ahead and take her. I'm cool.
Because you could only imagine, right? Like,
I could only, and my epidural stopped working.
oh, yikes.
So I felt everything. And so, yeah, they were, and I told the anesthesiologist when he was rolling me back, I was like, look, something's not right. I'm feeling everything. I was moving my legs and they're rolling me back to the OR.
Mm.
And he's like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna give you some medicine right now. So I'm like, okay. So I'm laying on that bed, girl, and the doctor starts cutting me, and I feel that.
Ooh.
I felt it. Yeah. And so I started like, first I was like, James, this hurts. And he was like, he leaned over, he was like, she said she's hurting. And they were like, oh, it's just some pressure. You're gonna feel pressure. And I was like, no, I know the difference between pressure and pain. This is pain. Like, it hurts. I feel your hands on the
Ooh.
ends. I feel it. And she was like, and then she didn't believe me until I started lifting my legs off the table. And she looked over the sheet at me like, really? And I'm like, yes, really. Like, I'm hurting.
Mm.
And so they ended up giving me propofol.
What is that?
Propofol. That's propofol. Propofol. It's the drug that Michael Jackson got. That's the one that he took.
Oh, I thought he had um oh, I can't think of what it's called. I thought it was something different.
He told me, he was like, I'm here to give you the Michael Jackson drug. And after that, it didn't knock me out, but I was almost like in a twilight zone. Like, I knew everything that was going on, but I just didn't feel it. Like, I felt it, but it was no reaction to it.
Mm.
It was almost like it was like an outer body experience. Like, I was away from my body. I could tell what was going on, but I didn't have a response to it. Yeah.
Why
And
is
so,
that even legal?
girl, like, and after I made my husband promise me not to have any more children after that experience. It was a nightmare. It
Mm.
was literally a nightmare.
Wow.
And so after I had her, people would ask me, it got to the point where James was like, please do not ask her how her delivery went. Like, don't even mention it. Because it's a trigger and she's just gonna like start crying. So please don't ask her.
Mm.
So yeah, it was bad. And so she but she was fine. She was absolutely fine. I had no issues with her. Um Great baby. But yeah, that delivery and afterwards, I had high blood pressure for 3 months after she was born.
Oh wow. Hmm.
Yeah, so my body just didn't do well with pregnancy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It just didn't do well. I wasn't the same after that. I had to have 2 surgeries, major surgeries on my organs. I had to get my appendix out and my gallbladder out. Like,
Mm.
my body just didn't do well with
Kind
pregnancy.
of rejected the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we just decided not to have any more after that, especially when I got diagnosed with my autoimmune.
Okay.
It
Did you
was
have like a hysterectomy or anything, or you?
James had a vasectomy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I was like, I can't, because he didn't want me to have any more surgeries
Okay.
after I
Yeah.
had all those surgeries. So I'm still capable of getting pregnant, but I'm just not. Mm-mm.
Gotcha.
Especially, I almost got a 13-year-old now.
Yeah. My little sister has, I think her oldest, well, it's only two of them. I think they are 17 years apart. Like,
That's how my brother are.
I mean, to me, that's like two only children. Why would you do that to yourself? you're done, and now you gotta start back over again.
No. Like the only saving grace is we were two only children because we share the same dad, not the same mom. So we never lived together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
so he was in Memphis and I was, in Georgia or whatever. And so, we never lived with each other. So we never had that sibling. It's not like we would have anyway, with us being so far apart in age. No
Mm.
sibling rivalry, none of that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So he's about to be 21 this year. And I'm like almost about to be 40. So it's a
Mm.
big jump there.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
a big jump. So I have 2 years till 40. But I think that I don't know. I think that it worked. And it's beneficial, in multiple ways. Like for me, when he was like Caden's age, because he went a while that he was just kind of like with his mom's side of the family. And then one day his mom reached out to me. My bonus mom reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we're gonna come and visit y'all in Vegas." That's when we lived in Vegas. And I was like, okay. And they came and stayed with us for a week.
Mm.
And from that moment forward, we promised each other that we would not lose contact, and we haven't since he was 13 years old. And I think that was he might have been 12. It was a really good time for me to become active in his life
Mm-hmm.
because I was old enough that I was, on my own, but I wasn't like too old to where I was not connected to him. I didn't understand him.
Yeah.
And so he really leaned on me a lot when he was growing up, like those teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
And now he could pay the favor because best believe he get ready to be calling his niece, and his niece gonna be calling him.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a totally different when they in your arms, you holding them and you dressing them up in all these little cute booties, and nobody tells you about these
Uh-huh.
years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you segued right into it. Mm.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
started out talking about children, babies, and so what's going on, friend?
Nobody tells you. What I will say is that I think people do tell you about it, but I think that you're so caught up with where you are in life that this adolescent, preteen, teen, these years hit you like a ton of bricks. Like it sneaks up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have trying to prepare myself mentally for okay, Sheonta, she's moving into, but I don't think anything prepares you for it.
There you go. That's what I was gonna say. I don't know how you can prepare for it. Like,
Mm-mm.
what do you do to prepare for those years? Especially if
Nothing,
you never had it before, never
nothing
experienced.
because you don't know what to expect.
Exactly. Yep.
And like you can go, I think it's like pregnancy. We just described it, right? You had a totally different pregnancy than me. No sickness, you enjoyed being pregnant. Me on the other hand, sick all the time. I was like ready for it to be over. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So, and then our deliveries were different.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even go and talk to somebody and be like, hey, so how's this gonna be?
Yeah.
Because what your children were like when they were preteens is nothing like how Kate it is now.
And the world is different.
The world is totally different.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
that plays a big role in it, like what they see, what they're experiencing, is just, even if you talk to somebody who has a 13-year-old like you, the experience is going to be different.
It's totally different. But what I will tell you is that you may not have the same experiences, but I think that there should be some kind of community, almost like a support group, child. You going? I'm serious because you'll think you're going crazy because they have gone crazy.
So maybe that's what you are to create.
I don't know. Maybe me, I don't know. I might because I'm telling you, I might start blogging about it.
Mm-hmm. Because where do you see people really talking about it? You don't see it or hear
I
about
Well, why don't you think that though?
that. People don't share that.
Hmm.
Um, could be because of what the adolescence is going through, and they don't want to feel like they're not a good parent, or they don't want to throw their child under the bus because their child may be going through, maybe some same sex stuff, or just whatever experience, bullying or whatever. So it may be like a negative connotation to it.
I think that um this phase is I think the parents kind of get embarrassed because your child is not your this is the time when your child is starting to like come away from you, or they should be like they're coming into their own. And so you're looking at this child that came from you, but they're nothing like you. Like they, and not saying that they won't come back around to it, but this is just an identity time for them.
Mhm.
It's an exploration time for them. They're doing stuff and you're looking at them like, what made you even think about doing that?
Right. Yeah, it makes no sense, especially when you've raised them up until this point and they really have kind of walked straight and narrow. For the most part, a lot of them walk straight and narrow. When they get to this point, they don't care. They're
They
like, hey,
do not care.
I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. And so then the parent is like, Harpo, who this child?
Who this child? Who this?
Right.
Who this?
Did they come from me? Come through me?
Right. And I think that this is where I wrote a devotion today, kind of centering around it. I'm looking at parenthood as like just this moment where you began to really, if you didn't clear yourself out in marriage and change a lot in marriage and grow and develop, parenthood is a whole nother growing, learning, developing, transforming, if you allow it to be. It's
I
if you
think even
allow it to be.
trying to think, do I want to say that? Yeah, I guess if you allow it to be, because if you are in their life, then yeah,
Yes.
it's definitely it's gonna change you.
And I think that that's how you have to look at it. You can't look at it like this child is like just just rebelling and doing these things. You have to look at what on the end, even if they are, what I'm saying is it still may be something about you. Even the way you come at them in this state, maybe your approach, maybe your words, maybe all these things is something that you're being challenged to change to.
Mm-hmm. But
In there,
go ahead.
you know,
You got cut off.
I was saying that it's something that you're being challenged to do in this change.
Mm-hmm.
In their change, you're also being asked to change, because I think what happens, it's just like husbands and wives. The wife starts losing weight or working out, and the husband's like, well, whatever, you go do that. I'm still, and then the next thing you know, the woman looks totally different, and the man looks the way that he looks, and then it's like they've gone from here to here. They're in two different places, and I think that can happen with parents too.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't submit to change,
Mm-hmm.
your child will be somewhere totally different than you, and you'll be wondering how did they get there.
So what do you see as some of the um to keep parents aligned? What
Mm-hmm.
see some things that can be done, because parenting for me is so far off, from me. My children are 24 and 31.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my experience was different, because let me see, at 13, were we still together? At 13, I don't think we were together. I've been divorced how long now? Yeah, I think we were divorced.
Okay.
So I don't know, where he was with that. We were still caught up in fighting each other, you know, um,
Right.
the divorce and stuff like that. So what do you see? to be able to help somebody, how can you and your husband stay aligned?
Well, one thing is that you develop a disciplinary plan that both of you all agree on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really into telling people how they should discipline their children. As far I can do examples of how we've decided, but I just feel like it's important for you to have one that you both agree on, especially if it's a home where both the parents are. You need to have a plan. Like, if she does something or he does something that we are like,
Mm-hmm.
it's on our boundaries list, then this is the action steps. And it needs to be just like that every time. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have something for extreme measures, like say they come home with a bad grade after you've repeatedly talked to them about it, and you know that they're not struggling, they're just in school not doing their work or something like that. You talked to them about it, you sat down, you tried to strategize, and they're just not listening to you. At that point, you may have to take the phone, you know, and that should be something anytime it's a situation like that, that should be the result. Or, you know, they don't ask permission to do something, like go to a friend's house and you find them. That's something totally different than grades for me. So that may take another level of discipline. So you sit down and you weigh out, okay, these are first, you need to know what your boundaries are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are our no zones? What am I not going to allow? Period.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, okay, these are my areas. And you do all of this with your significant other away from the child or children. You sit down with them, you have a conversation with each other. And it might take some while because whether you realize it or not, parenting is a blending just like marriage is.
Yeah. You better believe it.
Yeah, because James grew up not getting any whoopings.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the case for me. So, I'm like ready to say, oh, go ahead and tag her. And
Yeah.
he's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And so he just really struggled with whooping her. Which I'm I'm not a fan of it either, but that was all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
As we've grown in the parenting thing, there are especially at this age, it's so much worse you can do to them than whooping them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my friend suggested one, get her a pager and let her friends page her, but not have a phone for her to call them back on.
That's cruel. Yeah. So, uh,
It's just torture, and it's not about torturing them. I'm being for real, but it's just coming up with creative things to tap
you said
into.
I'm being for real.
I'm being for real. Like coming up with creative things to tap into their creativeness, because they are so creative. They're so gifted. They are very technologically sound. And so you have to really it's not a plan that you can have as far as, or when they do this, because they're going to do things that you're not even prepared for.
Especially in today's society.
Yeah, but you should have some type of outline, you know, some very basic things so that you can tailor it. And you can, then I feel like once you do that, once you sit down with your spouse and you say, hey, this is our disciplinary plan, we both agree on it. Then you go and sit down with your children and you talk to them and you say, hey, um, do you understand what discipline means and why you need it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that we love you, and the only reason why we even have to come up with this is because we love you and we are called to protect you?
That's so irritating.
What do you mean?
That's so irritating because growing up, that's what our parents would say. Oh, we only discipline you because we love you. No kid cares about that, and they
But
don't
that's why you
even
ask
think that.
them.
Ask
That's
them
what
what? Do
you
they
ask them
believe that?
what. No, you ask them what is discipline and why do you think you need it?
Yeah, you can ask all you want to.
Uh-huh. You ask. And then if they don't give you an answer, then that's room for you to explain.
I get it.
Because you got what I feel like we talked about. You have to give them the room. Now you're gonna have the last say anyway, but I'm gonna give you the floor to ask you, do you even think you need to be disciplined? That's how we talk to Katie. What do you think when you do wrong? What do you think should happen?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like all these things we will sit
So
down.
what are some things that she said?
Oh, I mean, well, maybe you could just like take my phone for like a couple hours. Or just tell me that I can't go somewhere with my friends, or but nothing is past like a couple hours or like a day. Nothing is.
Right.
Of course. And we're like, oh, so you're telling us what your limits are.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take it to 2 days, because that's when you gonna really feel it.
Exactly. If we take it for a couple of hours, that lets us know, oh, okay, you can deal with it for a couple of hours. But
You can
beyond
deal
that,
with it.
what you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Mm.
You're gonna start being creative and exploring. Drawing is what you're gonna do. Like different things. So I think that that's what you do. You sit down with them and you have a conversation. You set the boundaries. You let them know, and then you let them know what to expect if they break it. I mean, just like you don't go down the road speeding and don't expect that if you get caught by the cops that they're gonna write you a ticket.
Yeah.
They can give you a warning.
Yep, that's what I think I'm gonna get.
So you speed all the time, then. That's what you're telling me.
I'm not saying I speed all the time, but I don't go excessively over. Right? Like I stay within a limit.
What is that limit?
Well, you get like 5 to 8 miles per hour over. Yeah.
So you go 5 miles over the limit.
Yeah.
I'm
If it
saying,
says 65, I can go up to probably 73.
so you,
They're
so
gonna
what?
they're gonna chase after somebody who's going 80 plus. That's a higher ticket than somebody who's going 73. Like what?
No. Yeah.
So you just drive the speed limit. Ooh, 65.
Absolutely
Let
not.
me go 60.
Absolutely not.
I know you don't, not in Georgia.
Absolutely not.
Y'all drive crazy.
I'm trying, because that's the other thing I was going to say. You have to lead by example. So if you're setting boundaries,
Yeah.
and this is the thing I don't think that parents think about. If you're setting boundaries with your children, the only thing they do, they look at you now, but they're not looking at it like, oh, she told me to make good grades, so I'm gonna be watching to see if she's making good grades. No, they're gonna be watching to see if you're speeding. They're gonna be watching to see how much you drink. Are you smoking? Are you this? Because what they're looking at is, if they don't follow
Your
the rules,
actions. Mm-hmm.
then why should I follow the rules?
Which is rightfully so.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So if
To
you
a
want
degree.
something, yeah, I mean, it's only so far you can go with the because I said so. You know what I'm saying? If you want their room clean, then your room needs to be clean.
Mm-hmm.
If you want them to pick stuff up off the floor, you need to pick stuff up off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to lead by that example.
Mm-hmm.
And those are practical things, I think. Of course you pray. I have a power of a praying parent. I read that. I think I'm actually about to get back into that now. I read it all last year. I know the praying wife one is 30 days. So I might do a 30-day challenge. I got to remember how many. Oh, it's right here. Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have the actual book.
Oh. Of a praying parent.
Yeah. Power of a Praying Parent.
Stormy O. Martin.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. On Martian, is it?
Oh, Martian. Okay.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how many chapters are in here. And it's 32 in here. So I might do, yeah, because as a matter of fact, 31 is the last one, because the last chapter 32 is about praying for young adult children. I don't have that. So 31, I can do a 31-day challenge with this.
Praying for your adult children. I wonder, did she do one for adult children?
She did a set, like, I don't know if she did. Yes, she did. I think she has a whole book about that.
Okay.
Actually, I do think so.
Because like that led into that. You know,
Mhm.
if 32 is talking about adult children, that was a setup for another book.
For another book.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. I want to say when I was reading this one, she does reference going if you have adult children to read her adult one version because her children are adults now.
Yeah.
So, and I love it. I have, like I said, I have Power Praying Woman. I have the parent. I have the wife. If I need it, I'm coming in here.
Mm-hmm.
Along with my, it's almost like I double up. I pray myself and I come and read one of these. So it's good. It has all kinds of stuff, and I have taken so many notes. Like, look, I wrote a whole
Mm-hmm.
section. So, you know, I
Section from where? Last year?
that was from last year,
So
y'all.
I wonder what you would write this year.
I don't know. I actually need to go back and see what I wrote. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start taking out little journal sheets and just stuffing them in there as I read and
Mm-hmm.
just stapling them. And it will be interesting to me over the years how many
Yeah.
times I book,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
you know. So yeah, that's probably gonna be what I end up doing. Also, I think that you get you a supportive network. Don't have people around you that's not parenting their child like you.
Mm.
It don't have to be like the exact same, but they should believe in the same morals and values and principles. And or they should respect you enough that, like, say you go out of town and your child has to go over there. You know, they need to be willing to enforce that. Whatever your standard is, whatever your boundary is, they need to be able to enforce that.
Well,
You
then
know,
you right. Don't send them to some place that's not going to enforce that.
no, oh no, don't send them there because then when they come back home, they're gonna feel like you're the worst parent ever, and they're gonna rebel because they see something different,
Mm-hmm.
and now they feel like they're missing out on something.
But I think in the network, as far as in the network, I think a little differently. Like having a variety is good, right? To be able to hear, okay, this is how we parent ours, right?
You mean like not letting them go over there, just people that you have around you?
No, no, no. You said develop a network, right, of people who have
Yes.
similarities, right, of how you
Mm-hmm.
parent. I think a wide variety of parenting styles would be good because you can learn something from, any way that anybody does it. I wouldn't let my child go over to their house if they're like a neglectful parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you neglect yours, you for sure gonna neglect mine, you know.
Fact.
But I think in a group setting, one thing I've been thinking about, like a lot of things, we try to have these networks where it's people just like us, right? Oh, I need like-mindedness. Sometimes
Mm.
you don't. Sometimes you need to have people who are just totally different from you,
Mm-hmm.
being open to that. And that's a hard concept because we're so used to, I want these type of people around me. I need, but I'm at this age and thinking about the benefits of having people who are not always like-minded.
I think that works if there is respect there.
Oh, most definitely. The
You know,
respect has to be, that's got to be the foundation.
yeah,
If we can talk, because to me, it's like I can learn from anybody,
yeah,
you
you
know, but
can.
you got to be respectful. I'm listening to you, I'm hearing you out. Okay, something to consider. That's how you parent, or that's how you do whatever it is, right? I'm not knocking
Mm-hmm.
you because that's you. But when you have those conversations, maybe something will rub off on them, or maybe something that they say that you may have never thought about rub off on you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I want to talk about though. What about if you get in a situation, and I think that that's why we probably need a whole um community for this. Because what about those times when you're in a group, but you're the one talking about your child and somebody else is not saying anything about theirs? Like, how do you even handle that?
Well, that's pretty much the same as me having a group. And then pretty much I'm doing all the talking in the group.
You're right. You're right. Like, okay, because you could take it away from that. You could say, okay, say you start an addiction group and you're
And
sitting in
everybody who
there,
comes, so I'm the teacher or whatever, and I'm the
hmm
only one talking.
or you have five people and four of them are talking and one is not.
Yeah. And so that's kind of tricky. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of tricky. And I'm gonna go to what I asked in the group earlier. Why do some people like comment, right? And then some people don't? Because I'm trying to get an understanding. That goes to trying
Mm-hmm.
to get an understanding. So if that fourth person wasn't, or fifth person wasn't saying anything, it could be a number of things. They could be shy, they could be,
Mm-hmm.
antisocial, all different things, just really don't know how to speak in a crowd, don't feel safe. But I would open it up to what's happening in you, right? Like, why, what is going on? Why don't you, share?
Would you do that in the open forum or would
No,
you
no,
wait?
no. I probably
Mm-hmm.
would say that after, pull them to the side, call them, something like that. Because if they're not talking when we have open discussion, I'm sure not going to say that in front of everybody because now you're probably embarrassed or you feel,
Yeah.
and they probably will stop coming because now you
Mm-hmm.
just triggered them like, I'm freezing, like fight or freeze, or fawn or whatever. So it's a number of things, that's a tricky thing to me when
Mm-hmm.
you have something, because I'm just thinking, why even be a part? Why
Yes.
right?
Like,
I can't. That's why I ask the questions because I'm like, I don't get it. Why are you just here? What are you here for?
but I think sometimes people are reflective. They
Mm-hmm.
sit, so I can get that. Like they just have to think through what you're saying and what's being said, and they have to process it. So they're not talking because they're letting it sink in. And like you said, sometimes they're trying to get familiar and comfortable. But once we've been in this thing for like 6 months and you still sitting there not saying something, then I think that there's something that needs to be addressed further.
Well, no. Before 6 months is up, for me, it's gonna
Yeah,
be at month 3. I'm withdrawing some people, and that
but
because otherwise, you're just. What are you doing? Are you just trying to hear people's business? What? Why
right,
here?
what are you doing?
Exactly. And now I'm not
Oh,
saying that you can't be growing by listening to somebody, but if it's a group, AA, any type of group, the group grows by group think. Group think,
yes,
not just
yes.
individual think, right? And so that's the whole purpose of a group. That's why some people do group therapy, because I can learn better by a group instead of just one on one.
Oh my gosh. I just had like a flash of people in group therapy just going in. Like it could be crazy, but it could also be very fun.
It's a lot. I had to run a couple therapy groups, and these were like it was just court mandated groups, right, where they had to do some type of group therapy so that all of them could have something different, right, that they're there
Yeah.
for. So of course there are some boundaries and stuff that they got to abide by, right? Like it does have to be a safe space. You got to keep everybody's business in the group. I mean, whether they do that or not, that's kind of hard to regulate, right? But if it comes out that you're out there talking about somebody else in the group or whatever, then you're out. And it's just it's a lot of regulation because some people want they may want all attention on them. So they come in every
Mhm.
group and they just talking and they showing out and acting crazy. I don't want to say
But I
that.
ain't getting no help.
None. They just need that attention. So the whole thing with group therapy is, number one, don't make it too big of a group, right? So that you still can maintain those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So um I don't know, group therapy is something. It's something to see and experience.
Yeah, I never did it in person, but when I was studying in school, they did. We had to do a lot of classes about it, and we had to do watch videos about it and step by step. And this is like what we're talking about. When you got somebody that is not speaking, you can say, "Hey, Anthony, what do you think?" You know,
Mhm,
like, and
mhm.
if they still can't engage, like you're saying, pull them to the side, talk to them about it. If they can't engage, then it's time to say, "All right, well, we're gonna have to say that you can't come back to group because you're not helping the group."
But they keep showing up though. Why do they want to keep showing up?
I, I
That's
don't
what
know.
baffles me. Like, so I mean, when I think about Facebook, I'm just using my group for example. You know, you're gonna get notifications from it, so you're seeing the notifications, right?
So I think that so I don't have push notifications on my phone
Okay, you don't have.
because
Okay,
see that makes me, and I had to turn it off because it makes me go to my phone immediately, almost
so
like a text
other
message.
people do that too.
Uh-huh. So sometimes when I go in there, I'm serious. Like I'm still responding to stuff from like Christmas time. Cause when I go in there, I have like 9+ notifications by the time I get in there
Oh,
sometimes. If I miss one day on Facebook, it's over. And at some point that's just overwhelming. I can't click through every notification.
okay,
So if I don't see, if it's not at the top of my notifications or if it's not at the top of my news feed, I will miss some things. Just
okay.
honestly.
So that's good information to know.
Mm-hmm. So
But
what I'll do is I'll go into the group itself sometimes. If I have time, I'll click on the group and see like what questions are what's let's engage, let's see what's going on.
right,
But it just depends on if I have time.
gotcha. And
Yeah.
I get it. Like that's a big thing too. Time constraint or whatever. But I'm just saying, if people are going to be or choose to be a part of a group, because my thing is, I invited you. So if I invited you, you didn't have to say, yeah, because I don't have a whole lot of time to engage. And one of the first posts that I made was about engagement, right? Like, this is a group for everybody. It's not just for you to soak up, because I want to create a safe space.
Uh-huh.
You're only going to have safe spaces if everybody is willing to put themselves out there, right? If you got
Mhm.
other people looking from the back, as somebody say, so they're talking to people in the back, right? Right. If you got people who are in the back, I mean, what's your purpose? Why you wouldn't be missed in the group because nobody knows you're here.
But so many people do that. And it's because I used to have a group too. When I first started getting back on Facebook and trying to, and people will sit in that group and they just in there so they can see. And it's like I am, like you saying, I would ask questions. You were in there and I would ask questions. It would be like maybe only you
In,
responding.
in what
It
group?
it was the She Speaks one. You
Oh,
remember my She Speaks one?
that wasn't a reading group.
No, not the reading group. It
Okay.
was the She Speaks group where we were talking about women empowerment, all that kind of stuff. And I would put questions like about parenting or being a
Oh
wife
yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Okay, right. Hot,
And
hot. Yeah.
yeah, the hot transparency. I would do that. And it would be very little engagement. So
Okay, so why is that though? Why do you think?
I just think that people, to be honest with you, I just think people being nosy. Cause you see that it's like 6 people that have viewed it, 20 people that have viewed it. So
That's
it's
the
people
thing.
looking.
So you look at it and you just keep scrolling, strolling.
Now, now one thing I will tell you is I will look at a post and I do the same thing with my text messages. I have people that are, no, I won't say that, but I do the same thing with my text messages. I will look at the text message and I will go and start doing something else.
Oh,
And then
distracted.
I will forget that I was supposed to respond back to that text message.
Okay, I get
You
that.
know, So I do the same thing on Facebook. Like I'll look at something, I'll be like, "Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna come back." And and then
But
sometimes I get scared to put myself out there if nobody else is putting themselves out there.
I think that's what a lot of it is. I really do. I think that because one thing I noticed just recently too, when one person, it's like everybody waits until somebody says something, and then not me, not when I say something, because
Yeah.
of course I'm putting my comment down there. They don't care about what I'm putting. They want to see somebody else from the audience put something. Somebody else from the group put something, and then all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden, here come comment, comment, comment. I'm like,
Boom,
wait,
boom, 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 boom.
yeah, why? Oh, that's that status quo bias. You got to stay comfortable,
You gotta stay.
afraid to step out.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's you've been hitting. I don't know if it's because you've been saying that word a lot or because it really is me. But I mean, even early, because you just keep saying it, I keep being like,
I
yeah,
because
you're
it's a lot
right.
of stuff that fits that.
You're right. You're right. So no, like even when you were talking about the community with parenting, and you were saying it should be something different, and because it's a status quo bias, if you feel like everything needs to be the same,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right because you won't really get. I don't think you grow
Come on.
if you continue to keep yourself around people that are like minded because even if it's good there's a ceiling to that.
Yeah. Yep.
You
Because
see what
y'all
I'm
think
saying?
alike. So
Right.
how high can you go thinking like somebody else? And I'm only getting this from Myron Golden. He's stretching me so much, like even with the word, like to look at the word differently. I'm almost to the point where I want to take Hebrew and Greek and learn that because that's how he teaches. And a lot of times the words mean different stuff.
Yeah,
So I want to get the true meaning of it, right? But I don't know if I have it right now in me to do. But I'm just saying it's very intriguing to me
it
how
is.
he teaches because that's him. He's more like he's definitely gonna be out of the box. He's not, it's not, he's gonna say what he feels no matter who is there or feels whatever. And I think that that's just the level of confidence that I strive to be at.
Absolutely, definitely. He doesn't like he'll just flat out tell. You sent me a Q&A one time, and this guy was like trying to ask questions. Like, will you tell me what the question is? I can give you an answer. I was
Yep.
like, oh, please let me get to this point.
And
And he
hold
didn't
on,
even say it in a mean way. He was just
that's just
matter of
him.
fact, like this is it.
Do you know he has a uh so I just heard him talk about like how he has his different, so he has the group, the group coaching and stuff too, right? He said sometimes with his group coaching, you got to pay $500 to ask a question. So he said,
What?
ask the question. You paying for it, right? Ask the
Get to
question.
it.
Don't say something and then, or you say, give the scenario. What you say, my question is, then you talk about all the scenario.
No, he
Oh,
don't
what
want that.
is your question?
What is
Then
your
you
question?
can give some
Yeah,
background.
if
So,
I ask for it, because I might just know the answer.
so I just love him. He's just stretching my thinking so much. It's like I'm just growing from listening to him and just thinking differently.
He's the GOAT. Like I will tell you that, like, I really just from that one video that you watched, and I hate that we missed him on the did you watch it that Saturday? Last
No,
Saturday? So they had a
I thought
extended
that was just for the VIP.
James said the same thing, but I kept getting emails about it. I kept getting emails, I kept getting text messages to
Oh, they
log
said he
in
came on Saturday.
on
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah.
On
I
Saturday, and
Oh,
I
I
had
was
a
gone from
game. Kaden had the game, and so I couldn't. But I mean, just hearing him that one time, and then I went back to try to listen to another one of his podcasts, like while I was working out. I said, no, I can't do this. Like I need to be sitting down looking at him when
girl.
I'm, because he is like,
He's deep. He
he is
deep.
deep.
Some of the stuff I'd be like, because I just be. What did you say? Like,
Wait, what
How can you be that profound?
Right.
That's my
In
mind
2 minutes.
just blown. Like he'll
In two
say
minutes.
something, you know, and I just be like, I would have never thought about nothing like that. Never until he says it and he breaks it down. And I'll be like that. It makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense. And it's like, I'm telling you, I think I listened to 2 minutes and I was like, oh no, this is not something that you could just listen,
Nope.
like, no, you have to, it's a class. Every time he speaks, you're learning. You're
Ah,
learning, you're learning, you're
look,
learning, you're learning, you're learning. It's not just like, fillers. It's not fillers, it's meat all the way.
baby, you eating meat like I'm talking about some real solid beef.
I just,
I
it's
be,
amazing.
I be
Yeah.
like Byron, like who married you?
Who?
Cause how could can she be at that space where
She
she
has to
did?
be.
I'm thinking
I just couldn't imagine because I feel like he would just get too frustrated with it.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That-
I definitely think that, yeah, he's just on another level. But I enjoy hearing him when I get the opportunity. But
mhm.
he's definitely not gonna, you listen, if you narcissistic, if any of those things and you try to go and talk to him, like, don't go, because you're just, your ego, all that is just gonna go.
Cause he gonna cut you down, but not gonna cut you down he's not intentionally trying to do it. He's trying
No.
to teach you. I think everything he does, he is teaching. I think in his mind, it's all about, it's almost like Jesus, right? How the parables and stuff.
Yes,
It's
yes,
all to help
yes.
you, to give you something, because that's what he talks about, serving. You know, I'm a servant, like all the time. I'm serving, and I don't care if you buy my stuff or not. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm here to basically deliver a message or to give you, to serve you. But he just, the way he does it, man, that dude right there, he just is mind-boggling to me.
I think that he does a great job of bringing an awareness about you.
Hmm.
Like, like, because you can't just go to him how you want to talk to him, because if it's not in a way that he can understand and help you, he's going to immediately redirect you.
He's going to redirect you, but he did one on okay, remember there was a TV program, how to think like a third fifth grader or something. Do you
Yeah. Are you smarter than a fifth
fifth
grader?
grader? So he has one, how to be a genius but think like a third grader. Basically to be able to, you have all this, wisdom and knowledge in you, but be able to meet somebody at third grade level.
Oh, that's a
So
sweetie.
yeah, he talked about like he can talk to anybody, but redirected. Oh, he gonna redirect you
He's,
for
yeah.
sure,
Oh yeah. Oh
for
yeah.
sure,
And
right?
that's the part you have to respect about him, because he redirects you, but he never belittles you.
Right. He makes
He
you
just,
think.
he makes you think, and you yourself, because I mean, I wasn't even in the room with that question answer. It was literally through YouTube, and I could
Right.
just feel my insides being like, huh. Like,
I said, "Ooh, I wonder what that person was thinking."
what?
And I thought to myself, I said, "Ooh, I don't even know if I could interview him. What that would be like.
What
Like,
do you
I
say?
probably would be sweating bullets." But I
He would
saw this
probably,
guy, he interviewed him, and there was something that the guy said, that he said something about time. And Myron was like, "Well, I don't think of time like that." But he never said you're wrong, right? He just said, "I don't think of time like that. So, in my perspective, blah 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 blah," right? And I was like, so he's never like belittling you. He's just saying what he knows.
And that in itself could make you feel, but he's not doing it intentionally. It's
Right.
just, it's an awareness. And I feel like anytime you're made aware, you get that uncomfortable feeling, because
Mm-hmm.
now where you, it's almost, I don't know, it's just, you go from a level of not knowing to knowing, and that's always uncomfortable
Yeah.
because you're having to feel something that you didn't feel before.
But that's why they can pay him 55,000. He said he got a coaching program that's $350,000, and he has 7 people already this year who's done it, right? And so, can you imagine what that would be like? What are you
Listen,
teaching in a $350,000 course?
hey, I'm just gonna shoot my shot. If you give out scholarships, sign me up, because I feel like if you're paying
Well,
$350,000,
you know what you got to be making.
you gotta be, yeah. And so, but you gotta think about it. After you leave there, you're gonna be making even more.
Oh, and that's the thing. That's what he said. He said, and they pay it, and they gladly pay it, and they smile when they leave, you know, and would pay it again. Because he said he people pay him for results. I don't even know how we got on him, but anyway,
Me
he said
either.
instead of hourly wages, we should be looking, instead of, even like me as a therapist, right? Your hourly, if you came to see me for an hour, right? That's not how you should do. People should pay you for results.
Mm.
So if they're getting results, that result is worth more than $225 an hour.
Because it
Because
changed your life.
that's what he said. If it gets you the results that you want, they'll pay it, they'll pay it over and over, and they'll keep on coming for it. It makes so much sense. So I
It
just was like,
does.
God, you know, I need some people who gonna pay me for results, but
For
let me be
results.
able to produce the results.
It's coming.
Because he said it wouldn't be fair if I charged $350,000, but I couldn't get them the results. So it's both sides, right? You got to have those who will pay it, and then you got to be able to produce it.
Well, it's coming for you. The book, you've already produced it. Did you want to talk about your book? You put it on social media.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the book because it's so, how do I even describe it? Because so now, hmm, there's some fear there, in a sense, a little bit of fear that, what if it doesn't produce the results?
Well, how much is it?
It's $39.99, but that's the tax, shipping, and processing, payment processing fee.
Well, I mean, I'm buying my book, so
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. All this, what I'm thinking, right? Like, I really believe it was, when the Bible say it was inspired by God,
mm-hmm.
all those scriptures in there, I get that. Because literally I sat down and I wrote what the Holy Spirit told me. That's what I believe. I believe that if you do your work, if you do the book, it's intense. It's question after question after question after question. But I think that God gave me that because that's what I do for a living. I
Mm-hmm.
question, right? I know that gets results for my clients. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that he gave it to me in that way because it's going to get results in these clients.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you ain't gonna get no results from nobody else, I'm telling you, you'll get some results out of me because I'm.
I
Listen.
appreciate that.
So yes, like, don't be. What I'm trying to say is, don't be concerned about that. I don't think that you have put all that together for it to now just be something that's just out there like something else. Whatever God laid in your heart and on your mind to do, it was for a reason and it was for a purpose. And you're just walking that out now.
Yeah, and I had so much confidence before. When I
Mm-hmm.
was doing it, the confidence was there. I was like, oh, I already know when they get to this part. And then it was so many things I had to shift and change, and I believed stronger than now. I guess because it's about ready to be
It's about
released.
to be released.
Yeah,
Yep.
so like, ooh, now I'm like, you know, and I'm just gonna get feedback, right? Whoever buys it, if they will give me feedback on did it really help them?
Yeah. And you can have people on your show too to talk about it. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
you know, and then you'll get that there. And because Tim Ross said that on his when he got ready to launch his podcast, The Basement, which has like over 1 million views now and followers. He
Hmm.
said that he was so like the week before he literally thought that his life was gonna be over. Like he really was really struggling hard. Like he had to turn his phone off and leave the country, I believe, that week before.
Mm,
And he didn't even know, like when it launched, he didn't even know. He didn't
I
even know.
remember.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so I think that it's normal for you in your human state to feel the way that you feel, you
Mm,
know.
mm,
Um, but just know that your strength is being made perfect. His strength is being made perfect in your weak areas, in these areas where you are showing up as human. It's normal, but just know that he got you because he inspired you.
yes, it definitely was him. I First of all, I ain't think nothing about being no PPP or none of this stuff. You know, um, yeah, all I knew, I was a therapist. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a therapist. That's what I know. And then he started stretching me. So this is a part of the expansion of me,
Yeah.
and so I got to trust that. I guess that's what I'm hearing from you, right?
Yeah.
Trust what God has said and just go with it. So yeah, I am one thing I am believing is that the book is going to I think the book is going to do much better than what I think.
I do too. Absolutely. Because it's only going to take, and this is the one thing that I love about books and workbooks and all that. It's only going to take one person. Word of mouth is amazing. One person to feel changed, then they're going to start sharing it on their pages. And, listen at us talk about his needs, her needs, and how much it's affected us, impacted us. And now, pretty much every podcast we do, we're talking about the book. We're talking about because we have seen such a growth, an amazing exponential growth in our marriage because of that book.
Yeah.
Things we've been married for almost 15 years. Things that we have not been able to crush in 15 years are getting resolved now.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
And that's what you got in that book.
Well, thank you, friend. I'm receiving it. I'm not going to push it away. I'm just going to receive it.
Mm-hmm. It's all in there. Everything that people need, those things to unlock them and, get them like, oh man, this was the piece that I needed. It's
Mm.
gonna be in the book.
Cuz I it's been something to watch just even in the responders, right? And so everybody that responds may not buy one, right? But it's just to know that it's so many adults who don't know their purpose.
Yeah.
That's kind of is baffling me. Now I know because I looked up the stats and the stats told me, but to actually see people saying that they
Mm-hmm.
really need this because they don't know,
Yeah.
yeah, it just kind of like wow, it wows me.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll be amazed. Like I said, I'm going in a direction that I feel like I need to go in. And that's why I feel like this book is perfect for me to go ahead and solidify that because I've been praying for clarity.
Mm.
And so I am very much so looking forward to this book so that I can really lock in.
Okay.
Yeah. But you got to be unlocked to lock in.
It's true.
And that's what your book is about to do. Like you got to open up some things, shift some things around to make that keyhole available. So that's what you're doing through the book.
Okay, come on, prophetess.
Yeah. Oh, no, no, no.
Oh, come on.
No, did you see? I need to see you this Facebook thing that I seen, girl. And it was
Oh,
like, I don't know who this is for, but God ain't tell you about me. I was like, know, but I was like, oh my God, because right now, that is a very big thing. And I'm not knocking it, please.
Everybody and their mama knows something about somebody, but they ain't heard nothing about themselves. So
No,
God,
they have heard it, but they listen to it. And so we're not, bashing people that are, being called into that dimension. But I
who's really
just,
being called.
yeah,
Yeah. So you really being called, and sometimes they get it wrong.
they do because they're human. They're human.
Hmm.
So, that's just a area that I don't feel led to, I think that everybody has prophetic words, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that you could speak that, but I don't know if I want to carry the title of prophetess. Like,
Yeah.
God
No.
literally dragged me down a hallway and say, this is your title today and
Yes.
forever.
Yeah, I know I hear a lot of things, but I don't need a title with it, right?
I
It's
don't need
just
a title
something
either.
that happens, right? If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. But I
Yeah,
don't want to have that. That's a big, huge responsibility, man. People think that that's a
that's what I'm
joke,
telling
and
you.
that's,
No, it's not a joke.
man, you say the wrong word, right? You are now responsible for all these lives that you said this word over. And so that's why, unfortunately, I would be one of the ones that he would give it to, because when you don't want it, then that's who that's the
That's
ones
when
he
he give
would
it to you.
give it to.
That's when he give it to you. Yeah.
But nah, that's huge.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way to God, but I'm just like, God, please don't give me that responsibility. I know, he covers us with whatever, but like you're saying, that's a huge responsibility.
Oh
Huge,
yeah, yeah,
huge. And so you just really have to be so spiritually and mentally, and you just have to be in a really different kind of headspace, I think, with God,
and it's
because
so.
you have to pray for covering and stuff.
And the new thing is all on YouTube. Everybody got a prophetic word. God saying this and that to everybody every day. I mean,
Mm.
I yeah, I do. I mean, I think God could talk every day, but every day, sometimes 2 times a day.
I, listen, if that's the case, I mean, I will say, if I get in my word and I read my Bible, he definitely does lay things on my heart.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I was just telling my mom this earlier, like, everything that God says to you is not
For
for
everybody.
everybody,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. All of that is a part of that title, because you really have to know how to discern
Yeah.
when the
It's just,
spirit is speaking to you and when the spirit is speaking to you to speak to other people.
yeah. Yeah.
you
I mean,
know
I see that on YouTube like constantly. I'm like, and they got like tons and tons of followers because people want a word.
they want a word. People
Yeah.
want a
People are
word. They're
looking
just
for a
that
word.
desperate for God's word, which lets you know it's a good thing. People are hungry. But that's what she was saying. She was like, if God need to tell me, he basically gonna tell me himself. Like, and he will. If
Yeah.
you go to the Bible, anything that he tells a prophet, he'll tell you.
Hmm.
He'll speak it to you. If you read his word and it says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven
And I
and his
think that
righteousness,
he would give it to you first and maybe confirm it through something.
confirm it with a prophet.
But okay, I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
think in the Bible. Did he ever go to anybody first? Did he go to anybody first and gave them the word without them knowing it first?
I mean, like Moses, he did. He told him, "You're gonna go to you're gonna go back to Egypt. You're gonna and my people are gonna be led." Like, he knew.
Without
He God,
anybody confirming.
God told Moses
Moses, he
directly.
spoke to him in the burning bush.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did, in the burning bush. So yeah, it's scriptures all throughout the Bible. Abraham, hey, go up here and put your son on the to be sacrificed. And then it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to sacrifice him now. So God speaks to us. I need you to go here. I need you to go there. You just need to have listening ears.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
we're so ready. to hear what humanity has to say, because humanity talks like us, walks like us, acts like, we have ears, eyes, all the senses are the same. So when it comes from humanity, we're more likely to get into that and attach ourselves to that than to be still and quiet to hear the spirit, because we're unfamiliar a lot of times with the spirit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he speaks. I truly believe God. He spoke to me today.
What did he
And
say?
so when he talked to me about raising children,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that
Oh,
was,
what you
yeah,
wrote? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. He spoke to me that, and that wasn't for, I shared it on my page for encouragement, but I didn't share it for people to be like, oh, this is what you need to do. It was
Right.
really just me
What
speaking.
was told to you?
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Maybe I guess I need to do research on prophets, because I just literally thought that was God, me and him having a conversation, him and I having a conversation, and that's just what came from the conversation.
I can get that. I mean, that happens a lot. That happens a lot to me. Like you say, when you get in His Word, when you really, not only in His Word, but in His face. When
Yes.
you're in
Oh,
His
in
presence,
his presence.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's when He can drop stuff. It's like, okay, you're open to hear me. But if you're moving
Mm,
around doing all this and that, you ain't thinking about God. It's like you ain't gonna hear it no way,
mm,
because you're not
mm,
gonna even
mm.
think it's me.
You you gotta be still. I'm really, because I've been busy, and today was the first day that Monday I was off, but I wasn't. I was like, I'm just tuned out. So today was the first day I sat down, and I was like, I'm sitting at my desk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling out my book. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
using no phone. I'm pulling out my book because I don't want to get distracted on my phone playing Candy Crush. Lord help me. I'm going to be over here at this book.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pulled out the book, and it was just amazing to me how it just started flowing. Flowing, flowing,
Yeah.
flowing.
Like you'll see me sometimes on Facebook. I get the messages just start flowing. But that's when I've really been in His face.
Yeah.
It'll be a day and it'll be like this.
Boom, 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 boom,
Dang,
boom.
here come another word. Dang. Like He's saying all this stuff.
But Tony, what I will tell you is when you get hit that heavy, for me, I have to take, it's almost like, how Moses, he told Moses, like, I can't even let you see my face because you will die. That's almost like how I feel once I've been in his presence. Like, it's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how people get it most of the times. Maybe because they just used to being in his presence. But when I get in his presence and he downloads me with stuff like what he did today, I almost got to go take a nap.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. I understand that. Yep.
So for me, it's very, very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
God's presence is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm in his presence like that, because I'm in there, when I do that, I'm in there for at least 2 hours, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Just really in it. So when I come out, I'm like, whew, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I understand that. I
So I may only go deep like that once a week.
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah. And I think He understands that with the things that we have in our lives to do. I don't know many people, unless that's your job, to be able to do that every day. Myron Golden does that every day. You can't tell
Yep.
me he don't. He
Yep.
go, he get his concordant, he get all these books. I can guarantee you, all these books.
Boom.
That's what he do. He studies that. That's him.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah.
And you just, and I'm sure he could be in the presence of God for hours and hours and come out and say, okay, what we got next? But he's used to that. He's built
Yeah.
up that stamina.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's an important thing too, Tony, that people should not feel like because they can't be in God's presence every day, multiple times a day, you shouldn't feel like your relationship with him is like not good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, now being in his presence, is it beneficial? Does it help to grow it stronger? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to say, like a mom that's got 3 kids and got all this stuff going on, like to beat yourself up because you can't get in his presence. But maybe 30 minutes, that's fine.
You may only have 10 minutes.
You might only have 10. You might only have 2. But when you get in there, even if you just play one worship song and it gets you in his presence, I just really feel like people can beat themselves up a lot for not being able to get in his presence multiple times,
Yep.
Yeah.
We had an hour and 20 minutes. Per usual. Like, no, we had been doing better because I was watching the clock and it hit 1 hour and then all of a sudden the 20 minutes was added that fast.
I don't know how it got added.
Well, we started to talk about his presence and then, the time went really fast.
That's a good place to end though.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. It is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'll close us out in prayer.
Okay.
Let me turn this. I was in Hawaii for a moment. This is
It
Hawaii.
sounds good. It sounds good.
Right.
It really did. Like
I wish I could feel that heat. Like,
oh my God.
Oh goodness.
On the beach, kicked up. Oh my God.
With the sun beaming down on your face.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I talked to my son today. He had his shirt off in the house and his girlfriend had her tank top on. They're just it's nice. So that's what I need, some of that.
Maybe you need to go visit him.
If we weren't doing what we were doing, I really would. If we were staying here, but now we got to stack all
the coins, all
the coinage. Yes.
Stack it up.
Okay. Well, Father God, we just thank you, Lord. We thank you for this time that we have had, Lord. We thank you for you. We thank you, God, that you are almighty, that you see all and know all, God. We pray that we have been pleasing in your eyesight, Lord, with our conversation, Lord, just to be able to help others to see, first of all, you, and then to see friendship, and then to be able to see themselves, God. We just pray we have fulfilled your purpose, your calling on us on this evening, God. Now I cover Sheonta and her family, God. I just pray, Lord, that you would continue to bless them, continue to grow them, Lord. I plead the blood of Jesus over every aspect of their household, Lord. You know what is coming on down the line, oh God, and I just pray, Lord, that no weapon formed against them will prosper. I pray over me and my husband and our marriage, God. I pray that you will continue to grow it, Lord, that it will be pleasing in your eyesight. And so I just pray, even for this segment, Lord, pour it out. We have been able to pour it out, God, and it is a time for us to be able to pour it out. And I just pray that you would send others who need a safe space to be able to pour out whatever it is that they may not feel safe enough to do somewhere else, God. So grow it as you deem necessary, Lord. And until then, we'll continue to walk in your will and in your way. And so we just bless you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Okay, friend.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All
Good
right.
night.
All right. Bye.